So the vulnerability of a woman, I can understand why it's hard to. I can understand why it's hard to. Why? Because you're not sure who to trust. You're not sure who's worthy of your trust. You're not sure who is actually out here for hearts and who's out here. Them are on secret garden missions and not on the kingdom of hearts. And I understand that. And so when you're consistently encountering and it might not even just be romantic people, it may be friends who also hurt you, it may be family that are hurting you. Everywhere you turn, it seems to be people who are trying to hurt you. So what do you do naturally? You defend yourself. Why? Because the mind has to do that, otherwise you go insane. If you don't defend, if the mind doesn't give you that ability to defend yourself, you will go insane. But you might ask us the question as well, why is it that the whole world's turned against me? Why is it that friends have turned against me? Why is it that friends betray me? Why is it that family betrays me? Why is it my mom or my dad don't like me, or they do like me, or they treat me different? And then suddenly what you're developing is more and more masculine energy. The key part here is that, as I was saying earlier on, which is this: you don't have to let everybody know everything about you. Even in dating, you don't have to let them know everything about you. You have to let them know enough to be able to say, okay, I'm getting to know you. You don't have to let them know the deep things of you. Some of the things that are secret are for secret until, you see, the Bible says that Christ spoke in parables. Oh, God is giving words out here today. Christ spoke in parables. Why? So that those who truly want to know the meaning of the parable will keep seeking to understand. They will draw closer. Those who are truly after you, okay, will draw closer to you to find out more about you. If you release everything at once, you're not guarding your heart, and you're also not allowing a person to draw closer to you. Therefore, they're able to hurt you from long distance. And when they're far away, it is difficult to be able to determine whether the person's got a good intention or bad intention. So you see, this is why. So it's important that, so ladies, if you're trying to go into relationship stuff, like, please release some information. Things that are not, listen, tell them about your brother, that you've got one brother, two brother. You tell them that your dad. You may even say, look, I don't really get on with my dad, or I do get on with my dad. You don't have to go into the details of what happened with him. Why? Because that is reserved for those who truly are trying to seek you out. The same with Christ, when he said, listen, those who have ears to hear, they will hear. Meaning, as you listen, as you try to hear, and you're like, so imagine someone's talking really faintly, right? You got two choices. Either you get closer to hear, or you say, I can't bother, and I'm walking away. Oh, okay. The person's like, the person hasn't released too much information, but I'm intrigued. Let me find out more. I'm coming close to you. Yeah? Oh, okay, let me find out more. I'm coming closer to you. And as you've got to a place of trusting the person, remember, it's on the basis of trust. You release the information according to how much you trust that person, but you let that person slowly by slowly. Why am I saying this to you? As I said, as I've entered a relationship the last few months, I've seen a person do the same thing to me. They didn't release every single, listen, you guys know me. I can listen for years. The person had my missus had deep stuff, okay, that they have gone through, but they didn't release it all at once. Now, if they had, it wouldn't have been a problem because I'm used to it anyway, right? But for the person's safety, they decided that, hey, I don't think this is appropriate for me to release all the information to you, coach, at this time. Why? I can't determine your true intention. Now, I know you're on YouTube, I know you're talking about relationships, but I still can't determine your true intention. I don't see your heart. And until I can see your heart, I cannot trust you. You see, so this is what when you're dealing with relationships, why you're defensive is because you're trying to determine who's good and who's bad. But you determine that but those who are genuinely trying to invest their time and trying to get to know you, you will know them, right? So you let certain general information out that's not going to harm you. Let that out, and those who truly want you are going to draw closer to you. As they're drawing closer to you, you need to see their heart. Right? Because as they're getting closer to you, they should be exposing themselves as well. They should be becoming more vulnerable, so that's the truth about it, Felicia, I appreciate you. Yes, Aaron, not everyone deserves to know you, So that's why Jesus was teaching us this. He said there were 12 and then there were 3. Okay, those 3 got to see the transfiguration of Christ, or yeah, you know what I'm saying? The 3 got to see certain miracles. Okay, in fact, there was 3 and then there was 1. I want you to deep this in the Bible with Christ. Yeah, if you're not Christian, don't worry. I'll explain the story. When it came to Christ, there was the 3 and then there was the 1. The Bible says that there was one that was a beloved. That beloved disciple was John. Oh my God. It said at one point at the Last Supper, John was resting his head on Jesus' chest. My friends, this is a level of intimacy that we like. You see, so that even though there were 3, there was still even 1 who was the closest to Jesus Christ. And if you read in the Bible his story, you read his testimony of what Christ is, it's completely radical compared to everybody else's account, right? John and Revelation, completely different. Why? Because he knew this person completely different to everybody else. The revelation that was revealed unto John is different what was revealed unto Peter. Even though the 3 of them were all of them were close enough to Jesus, John got a completely different revelation. So for you in the relationship, you are awake. You have to get to a place where you're able to say parts of you that you release some parts of you, but not all of you, so that you can begin to trust an individual. You understand? Little by little by little. So I know we have to talk about. I want to just talk about it because I wanted to make sure that everybody, because it's a very deep topic and it is about. That's a very hard thing to change. That is the defensiveness, because it's about defending yourself, and I totally get that. Totally get that. But I do believe we can counter that by putting in safety measures of banks. And saying, okay, little by little, I'll release certain information. The more I trust you, the more I can release. Those who have ears to hear,